Welcome back. The African nation of Sudan is on the brink of famine. A 15-month civil war has forced millions of people to flee their homes and to seek shelter in other parts of the country. At most risk, 700,000 children under the age of 5. A Christian humanitarian organization, World Vision, is dedicated to helping these young victims and their families. World Vision CEO Edgar Sandoval is just back from the region and he joins us now for more. Mr. Sandoval, great to have you on the broadcast. Where did you go, and tell us what you saw?
I went to the region, specifically to the border between Chad and Sudan, to speak to some of the refugees who are fleeing Sudan. And what I can tell you is that Sudan is quite possibly the worst place for a child to live. It's really unimaginable, the situation in the country. This is the largest displacement crisis in the world, the situation in Sudan. And it is now the largest hunger crisis in the world. Almost 25 million people in Sudan are in need of humanitarian aid. That's more than half the entire population of the country. But George, perhaps the most troubling statistics I will give you today is that almost 4 million children, 4 million, are today already acutely malnourished, with over 700,000 of them on the brink of dying if they're not treated immediately.
You had a chance to meet with refugees. What did they tell you about their situation?
George, I've been to many challenging places around the world, and every single one of those crises is heartbreaking. But I will tell you that what I saw at the border between Chad and Sudan is at a whole other level. People are desperate. I've never seen the levels of hopelessness and despair. I spoke with a 5-year-old boy named Atum and his mom, Kaltum. Well, this boy weighs only 26 pounds. That is half the normal weight of a healthy boy his age. And what his mom told me just blew my mind. People at the border, in these settlements where they're fleeing for their safety, they're fighting amongst themselves for anthills. Yes, anthills. You see, they dig up the anthills and look for the millet that the ants have stored so they can have something to eat.
Edgar, are we talking about mass starvation here?
Well, I will tell you that for the latest statistic, 4 million of them are acutely, severely malnourished. And 700,000 are on the brink of dying. And it's getting worse. Now, that's the bad news. That's the bad news. But I'll tell you, there's some good news, George, and here it is. Did you know that 89% of children that are severely malnourished but are treated by World Vision, they make a full recovery, but only if we can be on the ground and with the resources needed to treat them. What I would like to ask your audience is, listen, if you're able to, help us help these precious children, each and every one of them created in the beautiful image of God. And any little amount helps. So if you would please consider going to worldvision.org, we'll give you all the information you need, and you can make maybe a one-time donation to our Hunger Relief Fund. I'm reminded, George, of the Jesus Christ we follow is very clear about his heart for the poor, for the hungry, for the marginalized. James, in chapter 1, he talks about what true religion is, right? Taking care of the orphans and the widows in their distress. We have seen a lot of orphans and widows at the border between Chad and Sudan.
All right, terrific. We'll have to leave it there. Edgar, thank you so much for coming on the broadcast. World Vision CEO Edgar Sandoval, again, pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, George.